Thanks for tuning in, guys. In this video, I'm going to show you how I feed 30 chickens, non-GMO, all natural stuff on $1.25 a day in like less than 10 minutes, okay? But first, if this is the first time we met, I'm pretty much the apron-wearing, permaculture chicken ninja master, and I'm going to show you an amazing chicken trick today. But I teach people how to live more sustainable lives, freedom-filled, by essentially growing their own food and getting started with chickens, because they're the gateway into it. So real quick, guys, the first thing you can do to cut your feed costs is cull unproductive members. Get rid of the oldies. Anybody 2.5 years old, got to go. Their egg production has been cut in half. And then you want to get rid of excess roosters, okay? How many roosters do you need? One rooster can service 15 hens, so get rid of those extra roosters. A couple ways to cull. One is put them in your belly, okay? The other way, if you don't feel like eating them, you don't have time, you don't want to do that thing, you don't want to eat stuff with a face, then put them up on Craigslist. There's a crazy chicken lady, she'll come get it. I'm witness to that. This crazy chicken lady came, she put all these chickens in the back of her car, no cage or nothing, pooping all over the place. They're there, okay guys? You can easily get rid of those unproductive guys. And get rid of the punks. And by punks, I mean those guys that are picking on everybody else. You don't like them. They're not, they're just being, they're getting out of the fence and that kind of stuff. So that's the first and one of the most important things you can do. Guys, the second thing you can do to get a real quick bang for your buck is ration out their feed. Listen, chickens are pigs with feather. They're going to eat you out of house and home. It is in their instinct that hard times are coming and to eat everything they can all at once. So stop putting all their food out there at once. Why? Because they will overeat. They will get fat, and that will affect their production. What's up, buddy? You want to be on the show? Okay, so that'll affect their production, and that don't work around here. If I don't play, we don't put up with that, okay? So let's ration it out. They need no more than 1/3 pound of feed a day. And so to do that, go ahead and get your grain. I'm assuming you're feeding grain mix already. So go ahead and weigh out 1 pound of it. In my case, and then, so there's 1 pound. And so then you could pour it into here and find out where 3 pounds are. And then you could do it real quick like that. Like in my case, I've got 30 birds. So 1/3 of 1 pound each a day is 10 pounds of food a day. And so if that was going to be in a grain mix, like a commercial feed mix, well then I would feed them 10 pounds a day. But I don't want to take 10 scoops of this every day. So I would maybe fill this up with 5 scoops and see where that is and know where 5 pounds is, and then just give them 2 of that. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Let's move on to the next one. Okay guys, I should have introduced you to Mr. Brown. This is Mr. Brown, my sidekick. He was not happy, so I put him on a stool, getting in the fridge. Now you happy, Mr. Brown? You happy? Okay, now you be quiet. I'm going to show him the third one. Okay, guy? Okay, guy? And then we're going to go outside and show him the rest. The third thing you can do is food scraps. 16% of your waste is going into the trash. So we eat a lot of whole food, so we're throwing a lot of this away. So this is like a day, okay? This is like a smashed up banana that Mr. Brown got a hold of. This is these are eggshells. There's some eggs in there. There's some this is from like my infusion drink. This is herbs. There's peeled carrots in here. There's a bad apple. Okay, there's strawberries. There's citrus in here if it's got some flesh in it, like the oranges. Okay, we've put chicken in here. We've cooked. You could put cooked potatoes in here. All kinds of crazy stuff. If you're gonna eat it, they can eat it. Meats, veggies, fruits, coffee grinds, and if they don't eat it, because of the way I set it up, if they don't eat it, it stayed on the ground or in the compost pile, and it just goes back to the earth anyway, so it works out. The fourth thing I'd like to present is other farm foods, like eggs. Why not? We have extra eggs right now. This is a great source of protein. This is 1.5 pounds. I mean, a dozen is 1.5 pounds or more of straight up protein. Another thing, guys, is so you're feeding back the eggs, but look, we had Mr. Thing 1 over here left the freezer open, and we lost some of our meat, right? Like he left it over for 24 hours, and so it was a little weird. It might have been edible, but why not turn that meat that might be edible meat into like fresh eggs and chicken meat, right guys? So every day we put about 2 or 3 pounds of that into this. It's cooking on my wood stove. The reason I do that, it's a lot easier to cut up. I can feed it to them raw, but it's a lot easier to cut up, and that way everybody gets a fairer share. Another thing you could put in there is like a butternut squash, guys, like this. Okay, and this has been grown in our garden. It's just been storing out in our unfinished room, and it's still solid, it's still fresh. I could totally cook that in there and makes it a little easier for the chickens to eat. Guys, you could put slaughter waste in there from your animals, stuff that you definitely wouldn't eat, but also stuff that maybe you should eat, but you just not got your mind around it yet, like the offal, like the liver and stuff like that, cow tongue, all that stuff. Chickens will love that, okay? Guys, we have extra milk right now because we have a family milking cow. And look, let's give this to the chickens. What do you think, beautiful one? Everybody look, the beautiful one is arrived. She's on the show. She helps make this happen. Now, the chickens will not eat the plastic wrap, Mr. Brown. You should know better than that. So let's add this to the mix. And also let's get my meat and cut it up and we'll add that to the mix. All right, let's get our steak out of there. Yummy, yummy. Cut into this bad boy. Oh yeah, look at that, guys. Okay, guys, so I've cut up the meat. Look, I've already put some of the meat in there. Look, that's some liver, okay? About 3 pounds worth. Gonna put the broth in there too, okay? Don't wanna waste that. They will drink that and get its nutrients. Oh no, what happened to my assistant? You have a blowout? You have a blowout in your diaper, buddy?
He did.
Okay, we'll wait on you. Okay, so you all changed up, nursed up, ready to go, Mr. Brown? You ready to go?
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's do it. All right, let's take the scraps we have so far. Woo, I'm getting heavy. Okay, guys, let me teach you the 1/3 rule real quick. I've already taught part of it, and that's that a chicken doesn't need more than 1/3 pound of food a day. Okay, you adding to this, buddy? Good, thank you. So no more than 1/3 pound of food a day. But then also a chicken, if given the chance, I believe will eat 1/3 of its diet in like greens, food scraps, vegetables, that type of stuff, grass. Another 1/3 of their diet in grains, and that's not necessarily like the traditional grains that we know of, but like seeds and stuff like that. And then the other 1/3 would be animal protein. So basically what I'm doing is dividing that up. So I have 30 chickens. They're gonna need 10 pounds of food a day. So I divide that up to about, I usually give them just a hair more. So I pretty much weigh out at least 3 pounds of meat, a little bit more, or you know, in that meat, it could be eggs or milk, just any kind of animal protein, okay? And then I would give them 3 pounds of whole grains, and then I would give them 3 pounds of food scraps, grass, hay, if I don't have food scraps. So it's pretty simple and pretty inexpensive that way. And that leads up right into my next one. So here's another quick trick for you guys. Instead of buying it and buying your feed pre-mixed, buy it in whole grains. Why? Well, it lasts forever-ish. Okay, and then you could use it for sprouting, but that's a whole nother story, whole nother day. I mix my grains and put them in this bucket, and then I scoop them all out together, okay? So let's go ahead and get that mix right now. Like, I'm gonna scoop my 3 pounds. I know what that looks like in this blue scoop, okay? And there's our feed for the day. So add that to the mix. If you didn't have animal proteins, guys, I would probably do 2 scoops of that, and just to make up for bulk, and then add 10% of your feed, so a pound if you have 30 chickens, since you're given 10 pounds a day, so a pound, 10% needs to be into fish meal. It's like 97% crude protein, and guys, it's gonna be hardest for you to come up with the animal proteins, and the fish meal is the easiest, quickest way to do that. So 10% of their food, 10% of that 1/3 per chicken is gonna need to be fish protein, guys. And then let's put in some minerals too. Okay, guys, so if we're just doing whole grains, we're gonna need to add some minerals. Okay, this is Nutri-balancer. You do 2%. So if I have 10 pounds of feed, that's 0.2 pounds, okay? So it's just a very little bit. That helps them digest dairy, okay? Also, you can do free choice kelp, Aragonite, and hopefully your own calcium shells, like your own egg shells from the chickens, or maybe oyster shells from the feed store. Definitely their own chicken shells and oyster shells if you need to, and free choice Aragonite, so they can have that option if they need it. Okay, so there it is. So there it is, guys. It's game time. Let's get it to the dinos. Don't you know? Chickens are dinosaurs. Yep, the closest living relative to the T-Rex. And they act like it sometimes, for sure. You guys will see. You guys will see. Just wait until I feed this thing to these guys. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, you guys ready to eat? Okay, I'm gonna start with the milk, guys. I put it into these feed pans. That way I don't lose the nutrients into the ground. These are feed pans from Miller Manufacturing. They're awesome, they're rubber. You can pick them up from Tractor Supply or on Amazon. You like this, Mr. Brown? You seeing the dinos? You pointing at the dinos? Yeah, look, they're excited. They see this bucket. Oh, you're cheating, you're cheating. Hey, I haven't started this yet. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna dump this out into these feed pans. I'm dumping it into the feed pans because there's a lot. Remember the beef broth? I want them to end up drinking that. They'll get the nutrients. Look, pandemonium, going nuts. You guys like this? Gobbling down the meat. I see you go for the meat first. Ducks too. Oh, nice. Swallowing down the meat. I like how they look for that meat, man. Look, look, check it, check it, check it. Big old chunk of meat. Oh, look, look, look. Yeah, did you see them down that meat? Good job, lady. Good job. There you go. Oh, look, the new guy, he got something. I think he got a tea bag. I think he got a tea bag. You can tell he's a new guy. He ran off with the tea bag. Poor guy, bless his heart. So where I came up with those numbers, $1.25 a day, is based off the price of those whole grains and those minerals in there, okay? To save even more on that, go directly to the farms. I went to Sunrise Farm. It's the same people Joel Salatin uses. It's in Virginia, and that's counting my shipping cost all the way down here to North Carolina. Sure, I had to order 40 bags, but remember, they last. That'll last me a long, long time, okay? And so I ordered these 40 bags. It came out to about $18, $19 a piece with shipping. It's crazy. So it came out to like 35 cents a bag for the grains and the legumes. I keep saying grains, but like there's peas in there, so there's some legumes. And I cannot believe, like 35 cents a pound, so I'm feeding 3 pounds, so it's a little more than a dollar. So then I added in, I figured some expense for those minerals that are in there. So easy, $1.25. Now, if you don't have your own protein source like I do, like eggs and milk and spoiled meat, you can do that fish meal, and it's not gonna double it. But let's say if it would, still, worst case, you're feeding 30 chickens on $2.50. Not bad when those chickens are gonna be giving you 2 dozen eggs in their height, right?